Isaac Tesla. The trade that happened to get Isaac Tesla. Did you enjoy the trade? Did you not enjoy the trade? As I've said, as you know, if you were with me for the draft, you know what I did. You know, I literally was out of my seat. I was like this. I was in my Cat Williams stance. I was like, yeah, let's get up on the line, boy. And then we'll see what's what. And then Shannon Sharp was like, wow. No. There was no Shannon Sharp here with me because you can't say that I tried to spell rapper without a P, did he? Right? Can't say that about me. But allegedly, other people, you can say that about. I did not like the trade. As I said, I did all that. I was so excited. I thought we were going to go ahead and get our edge rusher at that point in time. I was waiting. And then we didn't get him, and we got a wide receiver. And along the way, getting a wide receiver, and to be quite honest with you, I did not do any work on any wide receiver for the entire pre-draft process. And the reason was because I didn't think we needed one. Okay? So this is just my take on the trade in itself. The player that we got is not someone that I dislike. The player that we got is not someone that I want to fail and, I want to root against him or anything of that nature. No. The player that we got. Now, we'll talk about it. I believe that there's extra pressure on that player, and we'll get into what is said about it. So it says, Insider reveals motivation behind Lions' most controversial draft selection. This is from Sideline Report, written by Candace Pedraza. Shout out to her. So it says we're about to enter about 3 weeks post NFL draft, and the news cycle at this point has slowed down significantly as it pertains to the league's most significant draft fodder this year. For the Detroit Lions, that just doesn't seem to yet be the case, especially since they took a swing on one of the more intriguing prospects in the process, much higher than analysts had expected them to. Former Arkansas and now Lions wide receiver Isaac Tesla continues to rise some. And if you're wondering, I said every time I say his name, I'm going to say it that way. Because there's been Tesla, there's been Tesla, there's been Tesla. So I'm just going Tesla. That's his name to me. All right. Continues to raise some eyebrows from analysts. After Detroit traded 2 third-round picks for a player with only 28 catches in 2024, some people are going, wait, no, they gave up 3 third-round picks. No, they didn't. The pick swap is not really giving up a pick. It's just a swap of picks, right? So whenever you hear me talk about a trade, the pick swap is not a, you know what I mean? It's like if you're in the first round and you move up in the first round, it's like, oh, you gave up 2 and you give up next year's first round. So then it's like, oh, you gave up 2 first rounders. No, you didn't give up 2 first rounders. You just gave up next year's first rounder because you were swapping picks with the team. You're trading up to get their spot. If you're at 28 and they're at 15, they accepted your 28. You took their 15. It's not a trade of first round picks that you gave up and you didn't get anything of equal value. You actually got something of more better value. So anyway, that's just how I view the swap. I don't look at it as part of a trade. It's a thing that's going to happen. That's why you're trading up, because you want that pick. All right, so 2 third-round picks for a player with only 28 catches in 2024. They added some depth to the position with the selection surrounding Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams with some help. But how much help will a projected day 3 pick realistically offer the Lions offense? In his latest intel piece for ESPN, senior national NFL writer Jeremy Fowler explained that one big reason for why Tesla ended up rising so far in the draft was that he sees 2 bowl appearances. one at the Hula Bowl and another at the Senior Bowl, to show out and prove to teams like the Lions that he could end up being a draft steal if utilized properly. Tesla's push to be in Hula Bowl, Senior Bowl show rookie is ready to get to work in 2025. Fowler wrote that Tesla had to scramble to get invitations to both the Hula and Senior Bowl prior to the NFL Combine, where he performed well enough to land on some teams' radars. Then his combine performance, where he ran a 4.43 second 40, really put him over the top. I didn't know. I thought the Hula Bowl was something that you played in as a team. I didn't know it was an All-Star Bowl. Listen. If you're talking to me about something that's not the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Like the big bowls. The ones that they use for national championships and in college playoffs. No, you talking to me about anything other than that? Bro, I couldn't tell you. The Senior Bowl, obviously, I know what the Senior Bowl is. The East-West Shrine Bowl, we know what that is. But the Hula Bowl is something now that it's new to me. I didn't know you had to get invited to that. You know what I mean? I thought it was a bowl that you played in Hawaii and 2 teams did it, but apparently it's not. It's one of those aggregator bowls, and they get a bunch of players from different teams. All right. So once teams started to see him up close, they scheduled interviews with him and did their research on why he didn't get the ball at Arkansas. It wasn't because of attitude or work ethic issues. His personality shined in the process, becoming Detroit GM Brad Holmes' favorite player in the draft. Some attributed his low production in college to lack of communication and inexperience at quarterback, wrote Fowler. Fowler also drops that both the New Orleans Saints and Buffalo Bills were interested in snagging Tesla, and those are 2 teams the Lions traded ahead of in the 3rd round. Detroit has had a knack for drafting players less known in the pre-draft process. Perhaps Tesla will turn into one of those picks, especially with a more established quarterback and offense in place for him to thrive within. One thing is for certain, after this report, Tesla is ready to work hard to etch a role on this team, just as he worked hard to end up in those pivotal bowl games. So, basically, Isaac Tesla was picked because Brad Holmes had some insider information that 2 teams, and I think even 3 teams, had their eyes on him. So he traded up 32 spots to get him. Now the conversation is going to shift to, what was it worth it? Okay? Was it worth it? I want you guys in the chat. Okay, chat's been pretty quiet today. What up, chat? What's going on, chat? Where y'all at? Where y'all at, chat? We got a lot of viewers up in here. Not a lot of people chatting. What's going on? All right, Mr. Lupe Lion says, "What's good, sir? I hear going to start writing the contracts. I'm gonna start writing the Hey, I would love to. I would love to start writing the contracts. So I want you guys to tell me in the chat, like, what do you think is the type of production that Isaac Tesla has to have in order to justify the trade? Because the player in and of himself, he's a good player, but was he worth trading up 32 picks, giving up 2, not just 2, but both of our 3rd round picks for next season? Now, as it stands, we do not have any 3rd round picks. Okay. Now, what you always could do, and I've heard this somewhere, and obviously this is not an ideal situation, but you could always trade your future 3rd round picks. So, for example, we don't have any 3rd round picks next year in the 2026 draft. So we just go, all right, well, we'll give you our 3rd round pick from the 2027 draft, and now we have something of this nature. It's like we're using that to get into the third round here in 2026, right? And then we would have to wash, rinse, repeat unless we were able to flip a player for an additional third round pick, or someone leaves in free agency and they sign a big contract, so we get a comp pick, or Coach Shep, and I said Coach Shep specifically, you know why, at some point leaves to become a head coach somewhere else, and then just like Aaron Glenn, you get 2 comp picks in the third round. Okay. If you guys don't know, when a minority coach leaves to become a head coach, then you will get 2 third round picks, one in each of the following 2 years. So far out of the ones that he did go up and get, there was only been one miss. So let's see. The one miss being Broderick Martin. And Giovanni Manu we're still out on Giovanni Manu, but there's optimism that he could be in the mix this season. When you're talking about competing against Tate Ratledge and Christian Mahogany for that guard spot. And he might even be able to play some swing tackle. He is very athletic. So he might get reps at the Dan Skipper role, even though I believe Skipper is back, but he might get some reps there to spell Dan Skipper or to learn the position. As Dan Skipper I think he's been in the league now 10 years. I think he's going into year 11. So he's been around a while. So he probably doesn't have, he's definitely closer to the end than he is to the beginning. So if you can groom Manu to fill his role, then he can be the replacement for Skipper when he leaves next year or the year after. But no one expects much of anything from Broderick Martin, which is why the whole Levi Onwuzurike being a cut candidate and PFF saying this because of Broderick Martin was ridiculously asinine. But what is the production? What kind of year do you see Tesla? And it doesn't even have to be this year. Eventually, for the assets to be justified, because now, whether you like it or not, okay, if you say, well, Brad Holmes hasn't missed but one time or whatever the case may be, that's great. But what is the type of production that you want to see from this player? Because again, whether you like it or not, they gave up a lot to get him. What up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P here. Listen, if you want to continue keeping your Lions news pragmatic, if you want to keep getting the stats and not none of that static, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share and let everybody know what's going on around here. And turn on your notifications, because how else would you know that we're up in here keeping your Lions news pragmatic? Appreciate you once again, and we are out. Peace.